Tonight, Premier launches Niue-led initiative in ocean conservation in New York. Preliminary results of the 2022 population and household census. And the Public Service Commission investigates 2 separate incidents at the Niue Health Department. Good evening, I'm Soraya Mangawa and this is your BCN News. Leading our news tonight, Niue has become a global leader in ocean conservation. On Tuesday this week, Premier Dalton Tangelangi was able to officially launch the Ocean Conservation Commitments, OCCs, in New York. This 7-year Niue-led initiative has placed Niue at the top of sustainable ocean conservation efforts, already gaining the support of various NGOs and private donors. Daughter of Niue, Jacinda Ardern, was also present for the launch, where she expressed her immense support and appreciation towards Pacific Island nations as ambassadors of climate change and also climate solutions. Here's more on this story. Earlier this week, Niue's delegation in New York was able to present their Niue-led initiative on ocean conservation commitments, or OCCs. In New York is Niue Ocean-wide founder and president Coral Pasisi, and now project manager Brendan Pasisi. Premier Dalton Tangelangi was also present, where he was able to officially launch the Ocean Conservation Commitments in New York. Daughter of Niue and former Prime Minister of New Zealand Jacinda Ardern was also in New York, especially to support the launch of the Niue Ocean Conservation Commitments. This is what she had to say at the launch event held in New York yesterday.
It is such an honour to be here as a private citizen and with only one hat on, and that is as a humble and proud daughter of Niue. I wanted to just start by acknowledging all of the wonderful people in the room, and Premier, I'm so sorry that I missed your opening remarks, but I know what you would have shared with this room was just the deep passion and commitment that you have to Niue, but also to our Blue Pacific. And what you're doing here is so emblematic of what we need to do for our region. And I hope that this shines like a beacon and demonstrates what's possible. There is so much hope and optimism and drive and motivation in the Pacific. You are at the front line of climate change, you're at the front line of natural disasters, but I have never encountered working amongst peoples who are so connected to their land, so connected to their moana, their ocean, so connected to the species that have supported their ancestors for generation, who know their history, their culture, and see the daily impact that the changing environment is having. That is why our Pacific peoples are just the greatest ambassadors on climate change, but also the greatest ambassadors on climate solutions.
The OCCs are an innovative financing mechanism that funds the protection of 1 square kilometre of Niue's ocean waters for 20 years, as well as the development of Niue's broader natural environments and blue economy. This initiative was led and managed by the Niue Ocean-wide Now Trust, a New Zealand charitable trust that was established between a public-private partnership between the government of Niue and a local non-profit organization, Tofia Niue, and it has been ongoing since 2015. Sponsorship of 1 OCC is 250 New Zealand dollars. Donors can sponsor 1 or more OCCs, which comprise a total of 127,000 ocean conservation commitments available. In a government press statement, Premier Tangelangi says the government of Niue will sponsor nearly 1,700 OCCs, which represents 1 for every resident of Niue. In support of the launch, Jacinda Ardern told those present to visit Niue to experience for themselves what they will be investing in.
To be able to support a homegrown initiative from a place that I love so dearly and always felt like a bit of a second home is just an honour and a privilege. My final question, who in this room has been to Niue? I see a few hands. The opportunity awaits you all. I cannot recommend it enough as an experience. It will just deepen your commitment to this project. So I'm sure on behalf of the Premier and Coral, I'm sure you wouldn't mind if we invite the room to come and visit Niue. And very unfortunately for you, you'd have to stay for at least 3 to 7 days because of the flight schedule. So say sorry to your families and your work. There's nothing you can do about it. Thank you to everyone who's supporting this project. I so look forward to seeing it flourish and for demonstrating to small island nations what is possible and to demonstrating to larger nations what is possible.
The Now Trust aims to make a target of at least $18 million. All sponsorships will be used to fund a range of conservation, resilience and sustainable development efforts towards protecting Niue's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, and territorial sea, which is part of the Nukutuluea multiple-use marine park that was established in 2022. Several NGOs and private donors have already committed to sponsor the first OCCs. Anyone from individuals to corporations to foundations, multilaterals and bilateral development partners are invited to sponsor OCCs. More information on the ocean conservation commitments can be found on the Niue Oceanwide website at niueoceanwide.com. The Niue Public Service Commission has confirmed to BCN News that an investigation will be conducted into 2 separate incidents at the Health Department. One of the incidents involves the breach of confidentiality of patients' records when the health records of patients were mistakenly given to another patient on referral to New Zealand. Here's more on this story. The Public Service Commission, in a statement to BCN News, said rest assured that standard of care for all patients and data security is of uttermost importance by our health providers. The government's employing authority told BCN News that the commissioners had met with Acting Secretary of Government over these alleged incidents and considers these matters serious and will investigate accordingly. The second incident is the alleged overprescription of certain controlled drugs called benzodiazepines. It's understood that the Niue Hospital has been red flagged and restricted from placing any more orders for these types of medications prescribed to treat anxiety disorders, insomnia and seizures. BCN News is not able to reveal more at this time until after the investigation by the Public Service Commission. Attempts to get comments from the Director of Health, Dr. Edgar Akawala, has been unsuccessful as the matter is now being handled by the Office of the Secretary of Government and the Public Service Commission. In her statement to BCN News, the chairperson of the Public Service Commission said that they understand the media's role in accountability and transparency, but at this time they will follow due process of an investigation into these 2 incidents. BCN News continues with the analysis of the preliminary report of the government's 2022 census released last week with a closer look on population by village and age demographics. With respect to population by village, Alofi South remains the most populated village with 423 people, an increase of 10 from the 2017 census. The group with the highest number of population are those under the age of 15 with 26.3%. Here's more on this story.
In the population breakdown by villages, the village of Alofi North had the most increase of 30 people, taking their population to 187 in the 2022 census. The villages of Hakupu and Tamukotonga reported the same number of people with 180, both villages recording a decrease of 18 people for Tamukotonga and 10 fewer people for Hakupu as compared to the 2017 census. The village of Avasale recorded 128 people, a drop of 11 compared to 2017. Tuapa also dropped by 3 from 106 in 2017 to 103 in 2022. Lakapa is one of the few villages to record an increase in population from 91 in 2017 to 95 in 2022. Vaiea also recorded the highest decrease in population from 103 in 2017 to 81 in 2022. Mutalo also recorded a decrease of 21 people from 98 to 77 in 2022. Liku also dropped in population, 88 to 74. The village of Makefu recorded an increase of 9 people, taking their population to 73 from 64 in 2017. Hikudavake dropped from 45 to 39, and the village of Toi recorded the highest increase in percentage of 88%, from 17 people recorded in 2017, increased by 15 to 32 in 2022. The smallest village of Namukulu recorded a slight decrease from 10 to 9. For population by age group, the group with the highest number of population are those under the age of 15, with 26.3%. Those in the age group 10 to 14 years old represented the highest, with just over 10% of the entire population. Coupled with the high post-retirement group of those 60 years and over at 22.3%, this makes Niue's dependency ratio the highest in the Pacific, with 94 dependents for every 100 people of working age. According to the report from Statistics Niue, a dependency ratio of 94 is very high in comparison to other Pacific nations like the Cook Islands, with 72 dependents per 100 working people, and in Samoa that number is at 79 dependents per 100 working people. Niue statistician Whanau Mosione Holo explained that Niue's high dependency ratio means that there are not enough people in the working age population that can support the extremely large dependent population. This means that we need more people in the workforce in order to support the dependents. The preliminary report was presented by government statistician Whanau Mosione Holo. The production of the Niue Census report is presented by Stats Niue in association with SBC and Stats New Zealand.
One of the key findings of the national consultations Niue conducted a few weeks ago on the Sustainable Development Goals is that in order for Niue to successfully achieve its Sustainable Development Goals, the development partners must prioritize investment to strengthen Niue's enabling environment. This week, Premier Dalton Tangelangi attended the 2023 SDGs Summit in New York to deliver on Niue's Sustainable Development Goals report.
The analysis brief provided by UN resident representative Temba Kalua identified key challenges for Niue in the journey towards achieving its sustainable development goals. For the survey conducted in Niue several weeks ago, there were 2 critical challenges highlighted, including Niue's limited human resources capacity and lack of access to financial investment. Labour shortage is an ongoing issue in Niue that is spread across all sectors. With a small population of fewer than 1,700 people and ongoing outward migration to New Zealand, this has put more pressure on the labour demand for the island, especially across key sectors such as health and education. Despite all these challenges, Niue has the potential for increased financial investment if it is to successfully achieve its SDG goals by the target year 2030. The policy brief on the Sustainable Development Goals produced by the UNDP suggests that Niue prioritizes investment in social protection and jobs and a need for large-scale investment in digital and public infrastructure and education.
The Office of the Clerk to Cabinet earlier this week informed of ministers' movements over the next few weeks. Honourable Crossley Tatui, who is the Minister of Finance and Infrastructure, is currently overseas on government business from the 18th of September until next month, 9th of October. Honourable Esa Monainu is the acting Premier until early next month. Here's more on this story. Honourable Esa Monainu is the acting Premier of Niue from the 18th of September until the 2nd of October next month and is undertaking the following portfolios of the Minister of Finance, including Ministry of Finance and Planning, Customs and Revenue, Asset Management, PESA Plus, Private Sector, Niue Public Service Commission and Whole of Government Reforms. Mr. Richie Motama, member of Hakupu, is the temporary minister for the Ministry of Infrastructure for 1 week from the 18th of September to next Monday. This will change from the 25th of September. Mr. Riki Makani, member of Tamakotaonga and member assisting minister for MOI, is the temporary minister for the Ministry of Infrastructure from the 25th of September to the 9th of October next month. The temporary ministers for the Ministry of Infrastructure, they shall be responsible for the following portfolios, including Transport, Utilities Control, Civil, Quarry and Roads Development, Information, Communication and Technology, Niue Power and Energy Authority, and Water Authority. Member for Makefu Tofua Puletama remains as temporary minister responsible for some of the Premier Dalton Tagelangi's portfolios until the 2nd of October. Minister of Finance Crossley Tatui has confirmed to BCN News that Niue no longer qualifies for official development assistance from the European Union. Minister Tatui said that the final bilateral official development assistance package for Niue from the EU ended in 2020. Here's Esther Pavihi with more on this story.
Last month, during the visit of outgoing European Union Ambassador to the Pacific, Sujiro Sim told BCN News that Niue will no longer be receiving direct development assistance from the European Union. Ambassador Sim said Niue has reached such a level of wealth that the gross domestic product, or GDP per capita, exceeds what allows the European Union to provide Niue with official development assistance. The Niue government, though, is entitled to apply for regional development assistance offered by the European Union. However, Minister Tatui said that while there may be benefits for Niue from these regional development assistance programs, these programs can be quite competitive and without guarantees. Minister Tatui did not respond to the question as to the impacts the reduction in official development assistance from the European Union will have on the government's financial portfolio in terms of accumulative development assistance from international donors.
Several virtual meetings were conducted between officials of the Pacific Catastrophe Risk Insurance Company, PCRIC, and the government of Niue. The primary focus of these meetings was to explore the potential for a tropical cyclone parametric insurance policy coverage. Niue's Financial Secretary, Mrs. Doreen Siatanga, says the meetings offered valuable insights into the comprehensive support the company could provide to strengthen Niue's disaster resilience efforts. Government of Niue and PCRIC officials are currently working together to have insurance placed in time for the start of the 2023-2024 tropical cyclone season. And that concludes our bulletin for tonight. Join us again next week for more. I'm Sarai Mangawa. Have a good night.